There are always going to be the older kids who try to prove that you're not
Oh, that's
actually
so
princess.
annoying.
It is very annoying. But the one time that did shock me the most is when the kids went into my bag and took out my wallet.
Before we get started with our episode, we're going to hear from our sponsor. Shopify makes it easy to manage your business. They help with all of the details like shipping and taxes and payments, all from one little dashboard. Get your store up and running with thousands of customizable templates. There's no coding or design skills needed, just drag and drop whatever you want. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Rebecca, all lowercase letters. Go to shopify.com/Rebecca to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Rebecca. Now let's get started with this week's episode. Do you have a way that you would like greet kids as a princess? How would you? It's a greeting, a princess greeting.
I normally just say like, hello, thank you so much for having me at your party. Can you show me around? Can you show me to your friends? Because I want them to bring me into their party versus me stepping in and taking over.
You totally have the princess voice. Like you said that and I just I felt like I was at Disney World. Okay, can you say more? Okay, I'm gonna have you say more things as a princess because that's like making my inner child like, oh my God, I love you. But, hi Brooke. So you are a party princess.
Yes.
Literally, when I tell you the moment that I saw you were coming to my YouTube event and I saw your content, I was like, Jessica Vanette would love this. Do you watch Jessica?
I have watched your videos, yeah.
I love that woman. We'll call her after this. I've been having so much trouble finding other party princesses. I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna do a third episode with Jessica. And then I found you, and my dreams have come true. So you own your own party princess business.
Yes.
Okay, I want to know, I have a few questions, then they all will tie into me shutting up and you talking. I want to know how you got into the party princess business in general, how you decided, like, this is for me, I'm so good at this, this is what I'm going to do, this is going to be my job, my career, how you started, and then how you came to get, like, your own business with it.
Gotcha. Okay, I think I can do that. In 2013, I was a sophomore in high school, and I really wanted to be Rapunzel for Halloween, but I was kind of a brat, and I was like, I don't want a spirit Halloween costume. Like, I want my own, like, really well-made Rapunzel costume. And my mom was like, yeah. My mom was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then she was like, I can't sew.
Never mind. No,
yeah.
fine.
So she was a guidance counselor at an elementary school, and one of her students' grandmothers sewed really well. So we paid her to make me a Rapunzel dress. And then after Halloween, my mom was like, okay, we paid money for this, so get to work, do something with it.
Yeah.
So it was just like a hobby, kind of. I would do things for her coworkers.
Oh.
Like every 2 months or 3 months, really. Until I went to college, and right around when I was a senior, I think a senior or junior in high school, Frozen came out. So that was like the next big princess, because I only did Rapunzel and I didn't have wigs back then. I actually had really long hair. So I just would tell the kids that I was like growing my hair out with the magical flower again, because Rapunzel's hair got cut short. But then people started requesting Elsa. And when I got to college, I found this company in New York called Let's Dress Up, who hosts like tea parties for little girls, and they have a bunch of princess dresses. And I reached out to them, and we started to collaborate around my senior year of college. And I would also do a few parties in New York here and there. But then I was a senior when COVID hit, and I was sent back home, like a lot of people, to Jersey. And I had all these princess costumes and just graduated with a degree in musical theater. With COVID, that like did not exist. Yeah. So I was like, crap, what am I gonna do? So I started doing a lot of Zoom princess calls. And I would do like 6 a day, 7 a day sometimes, depending on the day and how busy it was.
Princess calls, what did that look like?
Basically, I would Zoom with kids for about 40 minutes, which sometimes was too much for kids depending, but a lot of them actually did stay on for a long time. And
That's a long time for a kid.
it is. And the parents would always tell me, like, I don't think she's going to stay on for that long. But then the kids would just be so amazed by their favorite princess that they did. I made a lot of Google slide games where, like, I would take Olaf's nose and put it into different Disney movies or pictures. And so my husband makes fun of me now because I have like almost like 5 different versions. So he's always like, "Oh, let's find Olaf's nose 207," because it's like my most popular game. Or I would do quizzes. So we would bring those up. I would sing to them, read stories to them.
That's so cute.
Basically just talk to them, answer their questions. But it did get interesting because like kids would bring me into their bathroom. Like,
Oh, yeah. Wait, so you did this on your own or you did this through a company?
I did it on my own. I did at the time join this website called KidPass, where a lot of teachers would be on there. So it was like a booking site. I'm sure you know about things like that. So that for a while was primarily my main source of getting customers. But then once I started making videos about it, that kind of took on its whole new thing, and people were finding me because of the videos and then heading to my website and requesting calls that way.
I love that. That's so cool. Okay, so after COVID, you started with a company.
Yes, I did start working with another company too. I don't do things for them like all the time, but maybe like once a month.
Okay, you still do stuff with them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you go about starting your own business with the princess parties? Or it started with the calls and it just grew from there?
Pretty much. I mean, I like always had picked out a business name, and I think I even made myself a Facebook page when I was in high school for the business.
What's the business name?
Bookbrook.
That's cute.
So I would say like Bookbrook for all your princess party needs. But yeah, once COVID hit, I was kind of like, okay, I guess this is my main thing now. And then as COVID started getting more under control and in-person parties started opening up again, I was starting to do more of those. And now that is mainly what I do with the content creation.
That's amazing. So then I have a couple questions that are similar questions but different topics. So in starting your own business, what is the most important thing you learned, or some of the most important things you learned along the way that you either wish you knew earlier or think that anyone else who might be getting into starting their own business? Because I feel like a lot of people in today's age are trying to find ways to work for themselves, as they should. That's beautiful. I love the effort. It's not for everybody, but if you can really put in the work for it, I think it's so worth it. So what are some things that you learned in starting your own business and working for yourself that you think is valuable to share?
I think it's okay to say no. And I didn't know that at first. And I would like if someone emailed me, no matter what I was doing, I would have to be like, I'm sorry, a customer emailed me. I have to email them right away. And I actually am kind of the opposite now, where sometimes it's been like 2 days and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never emailed this person back. But I used to be so obsessed with it and making sure that I got back to everyone as soon as possible. And I didn't want to turn anything down. So I would do, like, I think the most I've done is 6 parties in one day, which is really vocally demanding. And so now I'm like, you know what? It's okay to only do 2 parties in a day and say, that's enough. Like, I don't have to do more.
Yeah, you don't have to overwork yourself, for sure. What is something that, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, or if I even want to pivot yet, because I have so many other questions. Is there ever a time where you learned how to say no to customers, like in the moment, not just when it comes to responding to emails, but anything that they wanted you to do at the parties?
It's a good question. I don't think so. I mean,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Recently, I've been lucky because of YouTube and everything. I've been lucky where I've been able to say no to parties if I get a vibe just through the email, or like where I'm like, this seems a little
weird,
or weird to me. When I first started doing things, I had this one crazy mom who would book me like every single week, and it would get kind of uncomfortable because her child would be screaming at me on Zoom, and she'd be screaming at me and her child, and then like she would make me re-sing whole songs because she wanted to film it, and her child talked during the song.
Oh.
So I would just always be like, yeah, sure, I'll re-sing it. And I'd like extend the Zoom call. And I think now that I have more confidence, I would go back and be like, no, I'm sorry.
We set for this time.
Yeah.
Our time is over. Because your time is valuable too. Every moment, every minute that you extend it, you're losing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, that's so important. I'm so glad you learned how to say no. I had a couple party princesses send me a couple stories of situations that they also really had to say no for, and some of them were really uncomfortable to say no. It can be really scary in the moment when you have all these kids looking at you to be like, I can't do that. Yeah. Like one woman sent me a story about how she was Elsa. She was hanging out with Elsa at a kid's party, and she showed up, and she's got the big heels and the big dress, and she obviously can walk in heels, but she saw that the parents, who also didn't speak a whole lot of English, and that's important for that, like, this communication had another obstacle in it, but the parents put fake snow all over the floor. And it was the kind of fake snow that you mix with water. So it was very slippery.
Yeah.
And at first she was like, I don't really know how to communicate with them. I'll try it out. Immediately, like within the first 5-10 minutes, almost has a really big fall. Just so happens to catch herself on a table. And she just says, I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm so sorry. And it took like 15 minutes to communicate that with them. And that ate into even more party time. So of course everyone was a little upset, but she's like, I'm sorry, this isn't safe. I can't do this. And I'm sorry that it's taking a while to communicate that to you. Like, I know that we have a language barrier, but my safety is my safety. I'm not doing this. And I just can't even imagine like what they would think to have little kids running around in water fake snow. That feels really dangerous.
It does, but this is actually cracking me up because I had a request like this a few months ago.
Oh my gosh.
Not for Elsa, it was for like a Taylor Swift party. And it's actually for someone who knew me through YouTube, and I did a party for them earlier this year, and they were super sweet about it. But I told them, I think I tried sending an email, I don't know if it's a good idea, and they didn't get it, so then I had to resend another email.
What do they want you to do?
They want me to go to like a foam party and be Taylor Swift and play and dance with the kids in the foam and keep them entertained.
What do you mean by foam? Like the cheese blocks?
No, like kind of what you're saying,
Like
almost
slime.
like the fake like bubbles almost
Yeah.
that are like almost like that
Oh.
fake snow kind of thing, where it's just like a soapy, watery.
Yeah. Oh no.
And I had to say, like, I don't think this is a good idea because I can't bring my big speaker and microphone, because especially if you want me to be like Taylor or a pop star, I'd have to be singing most of the time. I can't bring that near the foam. It's going to get wet. My costume's going to get wet. And then I can't compete with the foam. Even if I'm in another section, the kids are not going to want to be with me. Like, it's already hard enough to compete against bouncy houses or pools. That's a whole other thing. But like something where you're like touching and foam and sensory, the kids will not want to spend time with me. And they were like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like, thank you for letting us know that. Maybe we'll do something next year with you.
I feel like there's an entire other issue to that goes to my mind. I don't know if it went to yours at all. Maybe that shows, maybe I messed up. I don't know. I would say no to that for so many other reasons also, because I feel like this is a kid's party.
Yeah.
And it's very, it's a kid's party. It's going to be very PG. I would never trust going to a stranger's house where the plan was for me to get wet with foam.
That is a good point. Maybe I didn't think about that because I had already met these people. So
Okay, that makes sense.
I knew they were
Well,
okay. But yeah,
it reminds me of another story that someone else sent me that, like, I guess because that was also on my mind, I was like, that feels like a bad idea. Yeah. But this other woman, party princess, got booked at a party. They said it was going to be like 10 people. So, oh, not a problem. Small, intimate party. Shows up, and there's not a single child in sight. And just looks around and is like, where's the party? And they're like, you're looking at it. And it was a bunch of adult men. Yeah. And she was like, you do realize I'm a kid's party princess. Did you mean to call another service? Nope. And that bothered me even more because you know that they thrived on the uncomfortability of her. And she just said, I'm sorry, I can't. I'll refund you. This is not safe. I'm not even coming into the house. There's no way. I'm a kids performer. I'm not even walking into this house. It's not worth it. And they left, like, of course, a 1-star review, and they were so upset, and it ruined their day. Doesn't matter. Safety first.
That's great.
Please tell me you've never experienced that.
Luckily, I haven't.
That's good. That's
I
good.
have had something one time where someone sent me their address that was similar to like another address. So I like 10 minutes away from their house. So I pulled up and I didn't see any balloons. It was kind of a shady looking house. I didn't see any kids nearby. And so I called them and I was like, hey, I think I'm here, but I don't see any like, signs of a birthday party.
No.
And I was glad that they were like, oh, this happens a lot. You went to the wrong place. But at the same time, they were like mad at me for not going to the right one.
If it's something that happens often, they should have like, hey, people usually go to the wrong place.
Yes.
Here's more specific directions.
And then I remember her like kind of yelling at me on the phone because then she was trying to give me directions, but I was like, I'm sorry, I don't see these like,
Landmarks.
yeah, these landmarks that you're trying to, and then she would be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And I was like, well, girl, I don't know either. I don't know where you live.
Oh my God, that's so upsetting. Is there anything else you can think of that really stuck out to you in like creating your business with this or running your own business before I move on to other questions?
You never know what to expect. I guess going in, their parties surprise me a lot. I will walk out of a party and be like, I did not think it was gonna go this.
Do you have any examples that you are okay with sharing?
Yeah. I mean, I think anything that's like really, don't want to say triggered, but like, whoa, I've probably already made a video about it at this point. So
Share it.
I
We'll
might
share
have
whatever.
taken it out of my head, but like, there are always going to be the older kids who try to prove that you're not.
Oh, that's
Actually,
so
princess.
annoying.
It is very annoying. But the one time that did shock me the most is when the kids went into my bag and took out my wallet. And I woke up that morning not feeling super great. And I didn't realize at the time that I was sick. I thought it was like my 10th gig that weekend because it was like Christmas season.
You exhausted yourself.
Yeah. And so anything that could have gone wrong at this party went wrong. I lost my voice during Let It Go. The kids were crazy. Then the older kids take my wallet.
That's so messed up.
And I went to the basement or somewhere to take a photo with the birthday girl outside of the room that we were in. And I get back and the older kids are on the couch and they're like, Elsa, you left something on the couch. And I was like, well, that's crazy because I never took that out of my bag. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, she did it. Well, he did it. Well, it wasn't. And I just like picked up my wallet and I was like, this was unacceptable. You should never do this to someone.
No. What did the parents say?
Well, here's the thing. That's when I was already ready to leave. Like my time was up. I kind of just wanted to get out of there. But the worst thing that happened, so like, I'm on my high horse. I'm like, you guys should never do this. I've got the lawn blue Elsa cape. I accidentally slip on my cape while I pick up my big speaker and I fall on my butt
No.
in front of all them, which just makes it so much worse.
Oh no.
And I wanted to get out of there so bad, and the dad had already been offering to carry my speaker out, and I just wanted to be alone. I was like, no, thank you. Like, I'm okay. And then he saw me fall, and he's like, no, I'm helping you leave now. And I was like, great.
Wait, so the dad was there for that?
I don't believe he really saw the wallet part. A lot of times, too, parents think a party princess is a babysitter. So they'll go in and out, and then they'll drink. There's so much drinking from parents at these parties where, like, to them, I think they're having their own party.
Yeah.
And I'm with the kids in a separate party. So they'll just come in and hear bits and pieces. So I think I did tell them at the end something like that happened. But honestly, my memory of that whole party is just
blurred.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I can never come back here ever again.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess you could say like a big misconception, because I always ask about misconceptions. One big misconception is that parents always think you guys are babysitters.
Yes.
And you're not. Party princesses are not babysitters.
You would not have a woman in a ball gown
No.
being your child.
Not all party princesses should be babysitters. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of kids
It is.
for one person.
And I'm okay if the parent like steps out of the room, even for like 30 minutes. Like, that's all right, as long as you're still checking in and helping me make sure that everything is on track. It's when parents leave and then I am so caught up in everything that I'm not able to like make sure I'm running on schedule. And then all of a sudden I look and like I've been there for like 15, 20 minutes longer than
I should have been.
No.
Which I will say, like, I have other people reach out to me and tell me all the time, like, well, this is why you need a handler, and this is because everyone loves to tell you the way they run their business.
Right.
And I'm sure that is super helpful. For me, reasonably, it's just not worth it to pay money to have
No,
someone do
yeah.
that when a parent should be still with their children.
Right,
at
like
their
you're
birthday
a
party.
performer. You're not offering a childcare service.
Yeah.
You're offering entertainment.
Exactly.
So then putting that role on you, that's not your job. That's not your job description. That's not what you were paid for. You were paid to do this particular job, and just because they want you to do extra doesn't mean you're entitled to do extra. Period.
Exactly. I should have you come and you explain that to people.
I put on my teacher voice and everything. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Those that don't know, that's how I always get YouTube people's attention at events. It works.
Yeah, it did work.
It worked both times.
Mhm.
People always laugh, but it never fails me. But so, okay, next question. Can you think of any other misconceptions that people might have about like party princesses, running that kind of business, being at kids' parties, anything like that?
I don't want to say this in a braggy way.
No. But girl, say whatever you need.
It's almost insulting. I have people, and I will preface this by saying I'm very lucky with the career I found on social media, and that's become a big source of my income.
Yeah.
But I will tell people I'm a party princess, and then they ask what my husband does, and I tell them, oh, he's a lawyer, and then they say, oh, well, you're
That's why
lucky.
you can do that.
Yep.
Oh, I knew exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. They're like, oh, well, thank goodness you're with your husband. Like I met someone who moved into my building about a month ago, and that's like one of the first things they said to me. And I was like, why do you assume, because I go to children's birthday parties, that I'm not making any money?
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to whether it's like social media stuff, creative businesses such as Party Princess, photography, things like that, I feel like they're so uncommon in older generations every day that they feel unconventional and they don't understand. I feel, okay, we won't even say just creative jobs, like jobs that don't necessarily require like college degrees. They don't understand that college is not the end all be all to make a living and a career anymore. And it's like wild to them that you can do something creative or something, or some kind of trade or something not conventional with a college degree, that they're like, what do you mean you make more than or just as much as an attorney or someone who works at a bank? Like, it's a lot of them can't wrap their heads around it. And they don't realize how rude it sounds.
Yep.
Because you put your blood, sweat, and tears into your business. And that's like so rude to just assume it's a hobby.
Yes, it's very insulting. I've had someone actually tell me too, they were like talking about how they had taxes taken out of their paycheck or something. And then we were in a group of people, they looked at me and they're like, oh, you'll get it when you get a real job. And I was like, oh, okay, because I don't pay quarterly taxes or take care of my own earnings or like anything like that.
They said that?
Yep. And then they try to backtrack. They were like, that's not what I mean.
But it is. It is exactly what you, then what did you mean?
Yeah, it came out of your mouth.
Did you ever ask someone, okay, so then what did you mean? I totally would have.
I did not. I was just like, I'm going to walk away.
I'm just a brat like that. I totally would have been like, okay, what did you mean? And just wait.
I wish I had the confidence to do that.
A few years ago I wouldn't have. Now I do. Now I do for sure. You said something earlier about like competing with bounce houses and things like that. Elaborate a little bit more on that.
It's really hard. The kids, as much as they love a princess, you can't beat the thrill of jumping and screaming with your friends in the bounce house. So there are parties where I spend like almost a whole hour just standing outside the bounce house, being like, oh, you guys look like you're having so much fun. Wow. I wish my human legs could work that well or something like that. And then I'll like sing to them.
That was just like the perfect Barbie voice. I needed you to know that. It just brought me so much joy. Did you see my face light up?
I did.
I love it. Okay, please continue.
I have to maybe sing to them. And then there was a party actually like 2 or 3 months ago where I did that and I felt awful. I was like, I feel like I've done nothing. And when I left the party, the mom was like, oh my gosh, you're the best party princess we've ever had. You're so interactive with the kids. We've had other princesses just stand there. And like, to me, I felt like that's what I was doing. Either that or I'm like literally following them around.
You were like interacting. I think that mattered.
Try my best. Because it's really, even like when there are pool parties too, I can't go in the pool and I don't do a swimming aerial or anything. So that's actually the worst when I'm aerial and I can't go in the pool. And then the kids are like, Ariel, why aren't you swimming?
I have a ball later
Yeah.
with Eric and Melody.
Or I'll just explain like, oh, my sisters would be jealous or flounder or something. But yeah, so then you're kind of just forced to like stay on the outside and try to think of something to do. Most of the time I just resort to singing because I'm like, what else?
But they like it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing in my business too where I'm proudest of, because I know there are party princesses out there who don't really sing or don't enjoy singing that much. And like to me, like that's what I have a degree in. That's kind of where I'm like, okay, this is where I might get the tip.
Yeah.
Show off what I can do.
This is where I have like a little bit of a leg up. I like that.
Yes.
That's really cute. What is your favorite part of your job?
I think just making kids happy.
We're going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsor. It's 2025, meaning it's time to start making moves towards your goals. For example, those of you who have been itching to start a new business, now is your time. I know those first steps can be really scary, but you don't have to do it alone. Shopify makes it easy to manage your business. They help with all of the details like shipping and taxes and payments, all from one little dashboard. That lets you focus on the important stuff like actually starting and growing the business. Get your store up and running with thousands of customizable templates. There's no coding or design skills needed, just drag and drop whatever you want. Don't regret not acting sooner. Shopify has the tools that you need to make your dreams a reality now. Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Rebecca, all lowercase letters. Go to shopify.com/Rebecca to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Rebecca. Now, back to the episode.
And I'm a performer at the end of the day. I love to perform. And so when I make the parents laugh or when I find a way to get everyone to get a smile on their face, that's a win for me. That's when I'll walk out and be like, all right, everyone was happy. I was hired to entertain the 5-year-olds, but the 45-year-olds
Are also having a good time, especially when they've also had their own party a little bit. Can you think of any common, maybe not even, hopefully not common, but any like repetitive behaviors or issues or anything like that that typically makes you think like, oh my God, I don't get paid enough for this? Like, what is a way that clients or customers might make your job much more harder than it needs to be? Like one example you already said is like when they assume you're the babysitter. That's not cool. No bueno. Can you think of any others that are common that parents might accidentally find themselves participating in, or even things that are so uncommon but you're like, I can't believe this happened?
see, I hate it when parents leave, but there's also the parents who are like up my butt. And it's where like, did you want to be the party princess? I will gladly give you the tiara and you can do this for me.
Are they trying to like tell you what to do?
Yes.
Oh.
Like, or I've had parents like recommend like, well, I think maybe you can play the game this way. And like, that would be helpful if the kids don't enjoy it. But if I see that the kids are enjoying it, it's like, why am I going to switch to your version right now if the kids are liking
they're having
my
a
version?
good time.
Yeah.
They can keep even if they're playing a game wrong, who cares? That's always been I always taught high school, but I have a lot of like little nieces and nephews and things like that. That's always like, who cares if they're playing a game wrong? They're having fun. They're occupied. They're busy. We can teach them the right way later, and then they'll spend another hour doing that. Like, it's fine.
Like, and those parents are typically the ones that want everything to be picture perfect. So I've even had kids draw, like, say they're drawing Gus Gus, and I've got some coloring pages out or something, and Gus Gus's shirt is yellow in the movie. The kid will make it blue. The parent will be like, sweetie, no, that's not what Gus Gus's shirt is supposed to be. And it's like, this is a 5-year-old. And this is an animated, this is not a real mouse.
Yeah.
Gus Gus
Even
is
if
not
it was,
going to
who
show up.
cares?
Yeah, he's
Who cares?
not going to be upset that his shirt color is wrong in this picture. So, like, what?
If he wants to wear a blue shirt, why can't he wear a blue shirt?
I'm like, why does this matter right now?
That reminds me of those parents that like when their kids draw them at school and then they come home, they're like, look, mommy, and she's like, I don't look like that.
Yeah.
It's like, girl, it's a stick figure.
Yeah.
None of us look like that. Just go with it. Just put it on your fridge and call it a day.
Exactly. Yeah, there are a lot of parents out there like that.
Oh, bless their hearts. Can you think of any other And if not, that's totally okay. But can you think of any other situations that you found yourself in that really just stuck out to you as either, wow, I love this, or this is so great, or I love what this parent or this party is doing, or even the opposite of, oh my gosh, this is terrible, please get me out of here?
You know, one thing that comes to mind, and it's actually before I even get to the party, and so a lot of times I don't end up doing these parties, but it surprises me how many people reach out to me and ask me, can you play Moana? Can you be Tiana? Can you be, well, they say Encanto, but they're...
Encanto, oh my gosh.
And I'll have people message me all the time, ask me be like Isabella, and I'll be like, I'm very sorry, I only do characters I can accurately and respectfully play. I'm white, I cannot play this character. So then they'll be like, oh, well, Peppa, she's like really pale from that movie, so you can be her, right? I'm like, no.
No.
I can't show up to the party and not know any Spanish or be able to play that character accurately. It's just a slap in the face to an actress who could.
Yeah.
So, and I've one time, I had a parent, this is one of the most shocking things. I was Elsa, and they're like, oh, we want you to come back next year. My daughter loves Doc McStuffins. Can you be Doc McStuffins next year? And I was like...
Okay, I'm really disappointed in myself. I don't know who that is.
She is this little girl. She's a little black girl on like Disney Junior.
Okay.
I don't even think the show really runs anymore. It's pretty...
Got it.
But she like takes care of like her stuffed animals. And
Got it, okay.
so I was like, I can't play her. I'm not black. I'm not a little girl. Like, nothing about it would work. And they're like, well, makeup.
No.
And I was like, that's not... And I regret, this happened very early in my party princessing career. I think I might have even still been in high school, and this was for like a former teacher, which made it even more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to speak up at that time, so I think I just kind of like was like, no, I don't think so, and then like left. Yeah. If that happened today, I would be more like, okay, I'm going to tell you about why that's wrong and why we can't do that, and you shouldn't ask someone to do that.
Yeah.
So that's also one of the things where I was at a party and I was like, I can't believe
that happened. It's like I can't believe it, but I can, because I know the things that I was asked to do, like as a teacher. And so I just can't imagine some of the things that they've probably asked of you. Can you think of any others? If not, I have another story from someone if you need a second to ponder.
Maybe I'll listen to your story and then see if it triggers anything in my brain.
So someone sent me a story about how they were a party princess. They were hired as Ariel, and it was double-checked multiple times because that's just her business plan. She has them fill out the form online, and then she doubles back when she contacts them for the party and says, hey, this is the information. It starts at 4. You want Ariel for 15 children. Yep. And then the day before, she also does one last quick call. Hey, just making sure this is all my information for our party tomorrow. Here's the address. Here's the time. Here's the number of kids. Yep. It's in the contract that if you have more kids than what you're planning for, it's an extra $5 per child because it's something that wasn't planned for. And, you know, she always brings little gifts for the kids. Those gifts also cost money. And if there's extra, she has to figure it out on the spot, right? So that's why that is in there, in the contract that was signed. Goes to the party, shows up at 3:30 because she wants to be 30 minutes early so that she can be dressed and ready to go when the kids show up. All the kids are already there. Not only are all the kids already there, because the party started at 3, there's 40 of them. 40. 40. Not 15, 40. And when she knocks on the door, mom is so flustered. Where have you been? The party started 30 minutes ago. Why are you not dressed? What is going on? Why have you... Ma'am, I asked 3 different times. You said the party started at 4. We wanted you to go on at 4. Well, it's 3:30. So why are you upset? If I knew that it started at 3 and you wanted me to come mid-party, I would have come dressed. That wasn't communicated to me. Well, it doesn't matter. Just hurry up. Now they're going to see you. So, like, as discreetly as possible, got dressed, got ready to go. Luckily, just so happened to have an entire bag of extra little gifts in her car, so it was fine. At the very end, husband came over to give her the rest of the payment because it was half before, half at the end. And she just said, hey, I want to let you know, per the contract, it says you got to pay $5 for every extra kid. There's 40 children here. We agreed on 15. Here's the price. And he said, that makes sense. I see it in the contract. My wife signed it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Goes to work the next day. And it's not her business. She works for a company. And the owner of the Party Princess company gets a call from this woman ranting and raving about the price. She showed up late. She charged me all this extra money. That's not the price we agreed on, blah, 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 blah. And when the owner said, ma'am, this was a part of the contract, like I'm looking at the confirmed details, I'm looking at your communication. Well, the kids didn't even have fun. Well, ma'am, I'm looking at the photos that you posted on your Facebook and the kids look like they're having a lot of fun. Well, you know what? I didn't want to hire a fat princess. That's what she resorted to when she realized she wasn't getting her money back. She wasn't even that pretty, and I think who hires a fat Ariel? And he said, I'm not gonna have this conversation about my staff. We're not giving you a refund, but because of that, you now cannot contact our business anymore. Like you are on our no book list. So hung up, never heard from her again. Of course, left a bunch of 1-star reviews, but
That, oh my gosh, that makes me sick.
isn't that so disgusting?
Yeah, it is.
Like W for the owner. I even think it was a guy. I think the owner was a dude. Like props to that dude for being like, no, we're not gonna talk about the girls that way.
Yeah.
You booked Ariel. She's literally the Ariel on our website. You clearly wanted this Ariel. Like she's clearly perfect as is. You wanted her at the party. We're not gonna play this game. Absolutely not. No. And I love that.
That makes me so mad though.
Oh my God, yeah.
But also I think it's funny because parents will do anything to get like a refund or get something out of it, I feel like, or even just get to some extra time, because I feel like they'll make up excuses of things that go wrong that I hear from other party princesses a lot too. Where they'll say like, oh, well, she didn't make anyone happy, so I actually want a refund or to be partially refunded. And it's like, no, the kids had a great time. Like, it's very obvious to see if the kids are having fun or not.
Like, kids aren't going to fake that stuff. They're either having fun or they're not. Have you had a lot of people try to get, like, refunds and things from you?
I don't think I've ever really been asked for a refund, but back when I did the Zoom calls, I would have people, one, all the time, they wouldn't show up to their Zoom call. And I'd call them, I'd always would give people, most of the time I'd sit on the whole like 40-minute call just waiting to see if they pop on. And once that 40 minutes was up, I'd be like,
okay, bye.
All right. But there would be people who would join like 30 minutes in and then still expect a 40-minute call. And I would have to be like, when you signed up for this, I made it very clear that I'm only going to be here for the time that we agreed on. I would say if you're maybe 10, 15 minutes late, then I'll stay the whole 40 minutes. And I can understand certain things, but there would be some people who would be like, oh my gosh, we went snowboarding or tubing or something, told me one time. We went out in the snow and we totally forgot, so can we just do it tomorrow? And then I'd be like, we can, but you're going to have to pay for another call. And they'd be like, well, no, what do you mean? I already paid for the one today. I'm like, yes, but I got dressed. I showed up, took my time. So if you'd like me to do all that again, I need to be paid. And people don't understand that because they think, which is another, I think, like misconception about party princesses, that we actually live a fairy tale life where we just sit and sing with the birds all day and are ready at any second to do a party.
No,
and
that makeup takes so much time and effort. That's why I barely wear any. Not because I think makeup is so pretty. I wish I knew how to do it well. I don't. I also don't like putting the time into it. I wish I did. Oh my God, I wish I could do makeup like some of you guys. Oh my God.
I really feel like I can't even do makeup that well. Actually, when I first started going viral, my eyelashes would be so bad. And I think part of the videos went viral because the comments would be like, girl, check your lashes. Or like, please cut your lashes. I didn't like know how to do any of that stuff. Or so I would literally have some old videos where like the eyelashes like hanging off. But like...
Not okay. I literally have some bad apple videos where I didn't know at the time. I had a liquid eyeliner that was too runny. It was way too runny. And so I'd put it on, I would think I was letting it dry, and then I have hooded eyes. So then I would get eyeliner all over my eyebrow. I would have no idea. I would film my entire long form bad apple video, and then I'd be like, you know what? I'm not doing that again. It is what it is. It is what it is. It'll create engagement. People will say something in the comments. I don't care enough. Yep. It's fine.
Sometimes that's how I know a video does well. I'm like, oh, well, the mean comments are coming in, so
they must be doing great. There's
because that made me think I've been very lucky where I have never had anyone really comment like on my size negatively. I've had gross dad comments
Oh,
before.
I'm sure.
But anything where I've had someone, like I had someone one time comment on a few of my videos being like, well, don't the kids ever ask you why you're not small like Elsa? And I'm like, oh, I don't have like a 1-inch waist like in the movie.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
because I'm
she
human.
looks a little unhealthy. Like, I love my girl Elsa, but you can look at her and know she's too thin.
I mean, a lot of the princesses are like
Too thin.
very, very small in the movies, but it's because the kids will never say that. Like older kids will try to call me out, and sometimes like maybe I've had kids before. Like one time I wore a dark wig cap by accident under the Elsa, and then they're like, I see black under, is that a wig? So like I've had that, but I've never had a kid be like, you're not skinny enough, because no kids say that.
Kids don't think about that stuff. That kind of stuff is taught. That's not inherent.
Exactly. And then I've had, the funny thing is one time, it actually made me laugh really hard. A kid commented like, kind of the same thing, like, oh, well, what if the kids ask why is Elsa fat? And someone commented like, girl, that's not okay. You can't say that.
Yeah.
And the other girl was like, oh, I'm sorry. I just like really wanted to know. I didn't know. And the other commenter was then like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
What do you know? Anyone knows not to ask that kind of a question. What?
But then I was just like, who is this person? So I checked their channel and it was like a tween. And
A tween.
I found it so funny that the first video on their channel was like to some song, and the words that they wrote on their little video was like learning to accept my body. And I was like, so you can accept your own, but you're going to comment on my video about my body?
I hate the internet sometimes. Like the common sense just out the window. Anyone who's above like 10 years old understands that no, you shouldn't be commenting on people's appearance. First of all, you're perfect. There was like 3 different times I was like, I need to say this, but I didn't want to interrupt you. You're perfect. I don't know what they are trying to make a comment about. Screw those guys. Those people, whoever they are. People over 10 know not to comment on appearances. They know not to comment on weight. They understand that their comment is rude.
Yeah.
They understand it's a rude question. I hate the whole like, oh my bad, I didn't know. No, you did.
Yeah.
Anyone knows that's not an appropriate thing to say. You know that. What? Just because you're behind a screen doesn't change it, and it doesn't mean any of us believe you. You know what you were doing. That's disgusting.
My favorite too is the kids a lot, because I feel like I mostly have kid followers. Well, they'll put something like, I'm not trying to be mean, please don't be mad, please don't hate me, but this is really cringe, but I'm not trying to be mean.
Then why are you
Yeah,
they
so
just want attention.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating for me, like when you get comments like that and you tell them like, don't say that, that's rude. And people are like, oh, it's just a kid. No. I taught 14-year-olds, okay? I'm always gonna tell someone in that age group, no, you don't do that. This is inappropriate, because they know.
Yeah, and then
you get making the excuses of, it's a kid. No, I taught this age group. They know better. You gotta tell them no. Absolutely not.
exactly, and then they'll never learn if you don't correct them, and then they'll keep like I'm not perfect. Sometimes they do make me upset, but I've got to.
Yeah, that's human nature.
Yeah, most of the time I'm able to just brush it off, but you never know. There could be someone out there really struggling, and then they get that one comment, and that just sends them over the edge.
Yeah, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back. And it's like, well, I didn't know. I'm a kid. It doesn't matter. The things that you say have consequences. It doesn't matter if you're a 13-year-old. If you're going to make these comments on the internet, you know what you're doing. You understand. The younger generation understands mental health is important. The younger generation understands that you don't comment on these things. But so many times they hide behind, well, that's just a kid. No. This is a teenager at this point. They're 13. They're a teenager. Even a 12-year-old, they know better. I will always say, no, you can tell them no. You can tell them that's an inappropriate comment. You can tell them if you're not happy, you can unfollow me. You can tell them you chose to participate in this video. You're old enough to understand what that means and what those consequences are with your actions. And I cannot stand people who disagree with that.
I agree.
Because those things are always learned. People don't just make those kinds of comments. They hear family members say those kinds of things.
Yeah.
They hear siblings say, they hear friends, they hear it on the TV. They know, and they learn it from somewhere. And I'm going to teach them the opposite way. I don't care. They can call me a bad guy. It's fine. I'll tell the kids no. Back to you because I'm rambling.
No, you're good.
Can you think of any other either misconceptions or any parties that really stuck out to you, either in a good or a bad way, or anything that you just feel like you really want people to know about what you do, whether it's party princessing or running a business, anything like that?
I think one of the most interesting parties I went to was like maybe a year and a half ago, whenever the new Little Mermaid came out, the live action one.
Yeah.
And it is interesting because I will always, as a performer, want to. I'm struggling to find the right words that I'm looking for right now, but I will never take on a princess of color or a role that's not mine. But at the time, I remember they already booked me as Ariel, and they had chosen. I give them the option of the teal ball gown that she wears in the parks or the mermaid look. And so they know what I look like. They know what this looks like. And then they asked me, they're like, oh, actually, can you switch to the costume from the new movie? And not that they were asking me to like do makeup or anything like that, but that's not my Ariel. I'm not going to dress up as that Ariel. And they were fine with it, but all of the decorations and stuff were of is it
Haley Bailey. Yes.
she was Ariel. It was all her pictures of her Ariel, which is totally fine. But it's interesting because the kids were running up to me and they were like, look, it's you. Even though obviously it's a very different looking. Yeah.
Concept of like.
So
I love that.
it's kind of crazy because to me, I was like, well, that's really sweet. They still see just the character for who it is. And like, they're not looking at color or anything like that. Because honestly,
The kids, they don't care about that. They see mermaid.
Exactly. Which I wish adults understood more. Because when everyone was freaking out at the time about a black actress playing Ariel, I was like, this is a fiction.
Kids literally just see a fish.
Yeah.
The kids see a fish. That's so funny to me. And that's more proof that that stuff is learned. 1000% that stuff is learned. I like that, just blew my mind so much, but I loved it.
And I don't know if they technically agreed, because at the time I was trying really hard to, when kids will tell me like, oh, well, I know it's just Idina Menzel, or I know it's just Mandy Moore's Rapunzel, I'll normally go into like, oh my goodness, yes, isn't it so amazing that they hired that really incredible actor to play me? But I was trying not to say something like that with the new Little Mermaid, because I knew there were so many little girls out there who looked like the black Ariel, and I didn't want to discredit that was just an actress playing Ariel. That wasn't real Ariel. So I think what I would usually say and what I said in that moment, I would clarify that it wasn't me, but I was like, that's my friend Ariel, and we have like really similar stories. And that's so cool that you know her too.
Oh my God, I just got chills. That's so cute. I love that so much.
That was a very sweet party. I thought it was just cool that they didn't see like any difference at all. To them, it was just their favorite princess.
That's literally so beautiful. I love that so much. And I love like how passionate you are about what you do. Like you can just feel it radiating off of you. And that's like my favorite thing about you is like you love what you do. You care about the kids, you care about the princesses and like their image and the kids' image of the princesses. Like it's also beautiful. I love it so much.
Thank you.
Of course. Can you think of any other last minute things, whether on being a party princess or running a business, that you really want to share or you think people should know or understand? Actually, answer that, and then I have one more question. Okay. That I should have asked earlier, and it just ADHD'd out of my brain. Go ahead.
I don't love when I see other party princesses online. I'm not going to say bashing other party princesses, but I see them talking about like what they really don't like about other party princesses. Or like, I hate when I see princess do this. I hate. And that's why I feel like a lot of people don't want to get into the party princess business, because at the end of the day, they're not real. They're a cartoon, and they are so magical and they're so important. But to me, if my voice doesn't sound exactly like Idina Menzel's, that's not what I care about when I leave a party. Did the birthday girl and her friends have a good time? Yes. I've left parties before and like I'll be like, oh my gosh, my makeup was so messed up. But when I go back and look at the videos or the photos that parents sent me, their kids were having a blast. They didn't care that I actually did leave a birthday party once and noticed that my eyelash somehow ended up on my sunglasses.
Oh no!
And I didn't know because I had the sunglasses on the whole time. But no one ever said anything to me. And like, normally kids would be the first one to be like.
To notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they have no filter.
Exactly.
None at all.
So I think new party princesses are so focused on like, well, I want to make sure I sound exactly like them and I want to make sure that I say the right thing. But at the end of the day, as long as the kids are happy, you did a good job.
Yeah.
And I see people comparing like costumes and things too. If you're just starting out and you just have like a Halloween costume dress, as long as the kids had fun, that's fine. Like, start out, don't worry about buying a whole bunch of expensive princess costumes right away. Even I, like, for characters, I don't play Snow White a lot, so that's like a $50 Amazon dress.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna invest. Now Elsa, I've gone through like, I'm almost on my 5th Elsa dress at this point because I wear her so often that then the costume gets worn down. And Rapunzel, like that costume, I've put a lot of money into because that's personally my favorite character.
Yeah.
And also, I do book her a lot too.
Yeah.
So I think when you're starting out, don't worry about being picture perfect. Just worry about making sure you're having fun.
Yeah.
You're doing the right things. You're professional, but also just making sure everyone has a good time.
I love that so much. That's such a good place to end, but I do still have the 2 questions for you, so it's fine. It's fine. You made me think. I always typically ask in these episodes, you know, in every job, teaching, nursing, whatever, there's always individuals who act in ways that like creates really harmful stereotypes around like teachers or nurses, literally anybody. And I know you just mentioned that you hate when party princesses complain about other party princesses. However, not specific things of like pettiness, but have you ever seen party princesses that really act in ways that you're like, come on, do better?
I've been hired to do other gigs throughout other companies, and I'm not perfect, and I think part of the reasons why some of my videos go viral is because I've had really wacky things happen to me at parties. I've forgotten things before, but I've seen like an Anna one time sing for the first time in forever. Didn't know when to come into the song. Didn't know really the words, sang the wrong verse. Like,
if you're gonna be a princess, figure out how to be the princess. If you're gonna play the part, play the part. This is the magic for the kids.
Like, do some research. Even I went to a party just last weekend as my like original character, Princess Brooke, and was just kind of playing like a generic
royal
princess.
lady.
Yeah. And the theme of the party was Wish, which I haven't seen that movie at all before. But instead of like, I looked up what it was about a little bit. I know like one song, I chose to not sing it because I didn't want to show that me as a princess was like really messing up this other princess's song.
Yeah.
So instead I just told the kids like, oh, you know what? Her movie is pretty new and I haven't had a chance to meet Princess Asha yet. So I haven't been able to learn her songs, but I know this princess's song, this princess's song. And then like, I think there are ways to go around it if you don't have the time or something sprung on you last minute. But if you've known about an event for a little bit and it's something like Frozen
that's been out for a while, girl,
Then I'm kind of like, oh, you could have
researched that for sure. Yeah. Like if you're gonna take on the role of creating magic for the kids, that's a responsibility, and you chose to take on that responsibility. I totally agree that it's like it's your job to keep that magic alive for sure. And then last question that I totally should have asked you earlier, but it ADHD out of my brain. What is a typical, like, I know every party's going to be different, but really what does your typical day as a party princess look like? Like, what are your roles, responsibilities? What does your schedule look like?
I will try the night before, but most of the times I fail.
It's okay.
To get like my whole party bag together and put in a pile. If I have multiple parties in one day, because I just use the same bag. I'll have a pile ready to switch things out. But I'll wake up. I try to do a vocal warm-up sometimes. It doesn't always happen. And then I'll do the makeup, make sure everything's packed and ready to go, head to the party. Once I get to the party, I'm a little bit more of a laid-back princess. I never have a plan of like, we're going to do this and this and this. I like to start with tattoos because I think it gives kids who might be a little shy or scared of me to have a chance to like have a one-on-one time. So that's the only thing that I'll ever be like, this is what I do first. After that, I ask the birthday kid the entire time, what do you want to do next?
I like
And I
that.
give them like 3 options. I'll say like, I can do a story, we can play a game, or we can sing a song. What do you want to do? And then if they say play game, then maybe I'll give them like 2 more options off that.
I just always want the birthday child to make sure that they feel like they're in control of their own party, because I think it makes them feel a little bit more special.
Absolutely.
And also, I'm coming into their home, and even though I'm the performer, I think sometimes parents think I'm gonna do everything, like be a DJ and be the event planner and be.
That's not in the job description. That's not what we talked about.
I just come, want to make sure the kids have a good time, and I let the kids choose what we want to do. Now, if I have multiple parties in a day, then I'll probably like rush home, maybe shove something in my face for food, and change characters. But honestly, party day, sometimes I do feel very like go, go, go.
How long does it take you to get ready? Like hair, makeup, dress, everything?
It depends who it is.
Okay.
There are some easier ones than others. Like Ariel takes me a little longer because I got to make my eyebrows red. Or like Elsa is the one specific princess I feel like she has to have purple eyeshadow.
Yeah.
But there are certain other characters where if I'm like Cinderella and I know I'm also going to be Ariel later in the day, I'm just going to slap on some sparkly gold or silver eyeshadow and that's good enough for both.
Yeah.
But most of the time it'll take me like an hour. I feel like I've gotten it pretty down to where I'm pretty quick now just because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
But at the most like an hour at this point.
That's crazy that like you've niched it down to an hour. That's so wild. That's so awesome. Okay, now for real, any last minute things that you feel are the need to share, which you already kind of answered that, but if you think of any others, I feel like you need to open the door for that.
I don't think so. I think I just feel very lucky with the path that I've winded down of this, like, I shouldn't say weird, but like party princess / content creator. So like it's all kind of gone into a cycle of like I'll get a booking because of something online, and then maybe something funny will happen at that party and I make another video and then it all kind of works.
It all kind of is in the same cycle of like you have the party, you get to talk about the party, and then because that does well, other people know that you do parties.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. My friend Brenda runs her candy shop the same way. She like makes it, she's opened a Mexican candy store, and she does ASMR, and she shows the making of the candy, and when those go viral, people are like, I want to order that.
Yeah.
I get it. It works. It's so lucky, so fortunate. So I'm so happy that you get to experience that and that it's worked so well for you.
Thank you.
Of course. And like, I love you. Can you tell everyone goodbye in your princess voice? That would make me so. You don't have to.
No. I'll just put on like more of a generic princess voice. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today.
I love it. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies.